This video is all about developing your self-improvement during a recession. We all know that during a recession, quite often self-improvement can become a bit of a challenge. Budgets are tight in organisations. They don't have the resources or necessarily the time to keep developing people. But it's important that you look after yourself. You can continue to learn, develop, grow, and take on new opportunities. It's very important, and this video is all about how you mustn't stop your self-improvement, even during a recession. You need to become more recession-proof. A bit like future-proofing yourself all the time, but this is obviously within a recession. So you need to continue your personal development journey, because if you don't do it, as we all know, who's going to do it for us? So you do need to be a bit more creative to help yourself during a recession, instead of relying on them and instead of relying on they. It's not your manager's job, it's not your business's job, the company that you work for, to develop you. It's your responsibility. Remember, how are we going to stay relevant and valued for the rest of our working careers? So during a recession, self-improvement can continue. You need to make sure it continues for you. So what is a recession? Well, a recession is when people just don't have enough money. Businesses don't have enough money and they have to make changes. They can't keep spending and buying services and goods. They start to have to naturally cut back. So that affects us all. So this is the real life situation of a recession. It's not particularly pleasant, but what we need to do is not moan and groan about it necessarily, but look at ways that we can run it for our own benefit. And that's what we really need to focus on. So whilst everyone's complaining about this, and it's all happening around us, it's in the media, it's in newspapers, it's on social media, we've got to take a bit of control for us. So how will a recession affect businesses? Well, they're going to have to make some tough decisions, as I've already said. They could be cutting back. They're going to have to cut back on spending, on products and services, but also on people. So unfortunately, it's happened to me in the past. We've been made redundant, and we'll talk more about that later. Or we've got to find new jobs. But I'm going to look at it as we need to find new job opportunities. It's just perhaps speeding up the process of where we'll have got to eventually. So what does this mean for employees and small organisations as well as the big ones? Well, there's less resources. There's perhaps more work to be done. We're going to have to work longer hours. We're going to have to take on more responsibilities. Now that can be seen as a very bad thing, but guess what? I'm going to look at it as a good thing. Perhaps it's a new opportunities for you to grow, because the recession's not going to last forever, and it could be developing your skills and opportunities. So if you are being asked to take on more, hey, perhaps look in the future. This could be a good opportunity. So what are the things that get cut first? Well, we've already sort of mentioned this. Often it is training, coaching, one-to-ones. Managers have less time. They don't perhaps have time to do appraisals. A lot of these budgets get cut and they stop investing in skills and knowledge. Now that's for some organisations. Some organisations are still doing very well. We'll come on and talk about that as we go as well. And as we said, managers perhaps have less time to give us feedback or do reviews and give us coaching and appraisals. There's more pressure. There's more anxiety. There's more stress going on. So we do need to get prepared. We've got to make sure that we future-proof ourselves so we can recession-proof ourselves. Hey, the two go together at this moment in time. Because remember, if you don't look after yourself, who's going to do it for you? So if you think that you're going to be affected by the recession, whichever sort of format that takes, take action now. In the description below, there's a link to my free personal development strategy. You can use it to plan and create your own personal growth whilst your employer is unable to train and develop and help you. And naturally, if you need any help, please give us a shout. And obviously, enjoy all the videos on this site. But let's carry on to the real key content of this video. So often when times are hard, we watch too much news. We watch perhaps too much stuff on social media. We perhaps, if we still read newspapers or listen to the radio, it's the doom and gloom all the time. And quite often, people, believe it or not, don't see it coming. There's a lot of people I speak to and have spoken to over the years have said, well, I never saw it coming. I didn't know that I was going to get caught up in this. I didn't know I was going to lose my job. I didn't realise this recession would hit me so much. I thought the company that I worked for were invincible. Not necessarily the case. So what we need to start thinking about now is, what will our company and what will our job and what will the marketplace look like in the future? You need to talk to lots of different people that you know and respect. How do they see it? Think about the skill sets. There may be jobs that we're doing now that will no longer actually be needed in perhaps 12, 18 months' time. And yeah, some companies may not be able to keep us on in those times. So we need to think about, what are people going to need for the future? What top technologies and new ways of doing things are going to transform the way that we work? Don't sit there with your head in the sands. Yeah? Talk to people. Build great awareness and responsibility of what's happening around us. Think about and talk about to your clients and your customers. How are they changing? What new things are they looking at? And then you get a feel for, okay, where do I need to go and develop my skills? But keep talking to lots of people. Not to moan and groan, but to find out what's next, what's happening, what's new, what's innovative, what's a new way of doing things. This is essential ways of thinking. Read positive blogs, watch positive YouTube videos like this one, so we can make a difference. Don't get stuck in the doom and gloom merchants. It's no good for you, I promise. So how can we avoid things happening to us? Getting redundant, losing our jobs, working for a company that isn't doing particularly well? Well, we can't change all those things around us, but we can change our reaction to it. And that's really important. Let me just say that again. We can't change all the things happening around us. Perhaps our company's not doing very well, we lose our job. We can't change that necessarily, but we can change our reaction to it. So I would encourage you to get out and network and talk to more people, as I've already said. Think about what skills you're going to need for the future. So get your current job description, get other job descriptions that are sort of in your similar area of work, and look at those and think, well, could I take on those activities? Could I take on those roles and responsibilities? Or do I need to develop new skills, new learning, new experiences? Now's the time to do it. Go and be hungry for learning, for new ways of doing. Put your hand up, get involved in new projects. Make yourself more employable in your current organisation if they've got to make difficult choices. But also, if you do lose your job, in other organisations, that you can show that you've got a great skill set. Get your CV out. Think of new ways of developing your CV. Don't talk in your CV about what you've done in the past. Talk about the value that you can bring in the future. This is really important thinking. Think about organisations also that are doing well in recessions. There are certain organisations, certain pharmaceutical companies, certain technology companies, certain media companies that are always going to continue to do well. Perhaps it's now the time to think, I wouldn't mind a piece of that. How am I going to then start to get into those organisations, talk to those people in those organisations, talk to recruitment consultants for those types of organisations as well. And start thinking how I can get into those before the door gets shut and everyone's piling in. It may be time to take a bold new move. And actually, it may be a wake-up call that you need for your own career at the moment. Perhaps it's not really going anywhere. Perhaps I need to think about the things that I've already been speaking about. And start to think, I need to take some control here for myself, because I know if no one else is going to do it, I'm stuffed. So I've really got to make sure. So there's always going to be opportunities out there. There's always going to be new and different opportunities and new organisations to talk to and new jobs to take on. Make sure you're at the cutting edge of that. Go to industry shows. Read different blogs from different organisations and industries and think, that's a market that I need to target. They're people I need to talk to. No doom and gloom. Just look at the positives and the opportunities. So how can you keep learning and not get affected by a recession? I've already talked about networking. Networking is perhaps one of the most underused activities going. This is essential. Get yourself a mentor. You don't have to be an official one. Just say to certain people that you respect, you know, and seem to be doing well for themselves, hey, can we have a coffee? Can I come and pick your brains? But have some good questions to ask them. What else can we do to keep learning and developing? Get your appraisals, get your performance reviews. Make sure your manager does do them. And if they're not very good at doing them, do them yourself. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but think about, what's gone well, what are the challenges you've overcome, how you're developing. Think about setting yourself some new objectives. What new opportunities and projects can I get involved in? Don't sit dormant, waiting for other people to do it. So there may be an opportunity before times hit bad in our organisations. I did this once. I got my company to sponsor me for some new learning and for some new qualifications. Some companies may be up for it. You don't know. If you don't ask, you don't get. But make sure you do ask. Also, perhaps invest in your own qualifications, even online. There's all sorts of things, obviously, that we can know, we can learn online. Obviously, YouTube, LinkedIn. There's all sorts of free resources out there. Might even like to buy a book, which might be a good idea. So, go to conferences if you can get them. And a lot of these conferences and industrial shows are free. But when you go there, they have lots of mastermind groups, they have lots of great presentations. Go and get all this free learning. There's loads of opportunities out there. Do not, I say again, do not watch doom and gloom news stories or people complaining about the government need to do this, the government need to do that, and everyone else everything's horrendous. And if you've got friends that want to just sit and moan about and groan about how difficult things are, hey, take a hike, go elsewhere. Go and find some people that have got a positive outlook. Read quality publications. I always still think on a Sunday or a Saturday, go and read a good newspaper. Yay, a newspaper. Or are there any particularly good blogs out there? Or are there any good podcasts? Start to get a list of them and make sure on a weekly basis you're tapping in and you're absorbing all this positive news, positive ideas, positive ways of doing things. And then, create the action. Get accountability friends, someone who perhaps also is going through a difficult situation. And this is a really nice idea, and you just sit down once a week with them, either on Zoom or on Teams or face to face. They can come round to yours, have a cup of tea. It doesn't need to cost any money, but you only talk about positive things you're going to do, and you hold each other accountable for doing these things. Like sending out CVs, perhaps talking to recruitment consultants, going to conferences, getting a mentor, reading certain publications, podcasts, all these things, they're there. And sometimes we just need someone to give us a kick here and a kick there to go and do these things. Really quite important. And perhaps start building up some relationships with recruitment consultants that you think you might need in the future for the types of work and the industries that you're looking at. Get your CVs up and running before you do that and start thinking about the value that you can bring other organisations of the future. So do your research, your due diligence, as I always like to call it, on companies that you potentially would like to work for in the future. And get out there and talk to people. Not so much of the messaging, not so much of the emailing. Let's try and build up some good conversations, because that will set you apart from lots of other people. So there's a lot of opportunities there. You might like just to go and rewind that a little bit and just listen to all of those tips and ideas that I've just given you. I promise you that they do work. I've used them, and I know lots of other people that have used them. So there we have it, loads and tips and ideas for you. So don't forget to please like, please subscribe, and have another video to help you to start your self-improvement journey. Just click or tap on the screen right now to start watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Or is it that way? I forget. Enjoy.